Hey everybody, Fossilized here. Hey, it's a Friday, and with it we got a new patch in Scum, and I thought I would go over some of the items that they had thrown out there. Some really neat stuff, in my opinion, and so let's just go through it, and hopefully you'll share that same opinion or not, as the case may be. But let's take a look at it, shall we? I guess first item up is they have really pushing this item decay system. And we've seen in the past where they've had different kind of textures and things like that. Well, they have improved the shader on materials. So now when you have like a shirt on in first person, you look at it, you'll get a whole lot better view of I guess the texture of that cloth, adding a little more immersion in it. On the downside now, they're also going to be getting wore out. So as they continue to take damage, they're going to show this damage, and there's going to be little cuts and tears and holes, things like that in it. And they have added the sewing kit, which is a really nice deal, but now instead of returning it to like a pristine condition, it's actually going to just sew up these holes and gashes and put patches on them. So you are going to wind up as some sort of little hodgepodge looking thing. And just like before the sewing kits, as your items continue to take damage, there is going to be a certain point where you can't repair it, and you'll just have to toss it and get new. So that's kind of a neat thing, I thought. It does give some really interesting looks on your character, but at the end of the day, I think that's neat. I think it's a neat deal. So I'm very much on board with that. So again, real quick, new shader and a lot more degradation of clothing. Limited life for clothing, as well as the ugly little clown vomit type patches you get. They've changed the way they're doing flags in base. You can no longer, as an outsider, go in and destroy the flag. Now when you go in, you can start a process to basically capture the flag, and after 24 hours after you start it, then that flag gets turned, and now the base is yours for all intents and purposes. Anybody else can stop that progress of that capturing that flag, including you. But it just kind of gives a different perspective, I guess, on the way you're stealing bases. So we'll see how that goes. Again, first look at that. We'll see how that is. Locks have gotten an interesting little revamp. They have added the ability for you to craft silver and gold locks. They take a little bit more resources. They're still done with padlocks and a toolbox. So your other old locks are just the same. Your rusty lock is just one padlock and a toolbox. A silver lock is 3 padlocks and a toolbox, and the gold takes 5 padlocks and the toolbox. So that's pretty neat. And even more so now, regardless of bases, they have a new purpose, because now you can lock your chests and you can lock your vehicles. So basically the way you do that is you craft a lock, you drop it on top of the item you want to lock up, and it'll give you the option to lock it. And at that point, only you or your squad mates can get in that vehicle without going through the whole little lock picking animation that we've all come to know and love. And there's an indicator on the image itself, the little icon for the, I guess it's not an icon, but whatever, the little picture of the item when you have inventory. There's a padlock in the upper left-hand corner. If it's gray, it's not locked. If it's white, it is locked. So that's a very interesting thing. People have been asking about that for a while. They've done some work on the sounds. They've added some new sounds to the urban ambiance, and some of those are very scary. They're very startling noises. So yeah, that's something to enjoy. They've added sounds on grinding stones, when you're sharpening your axes and knives and things like that. Puppets, they've changed in that they no longer chase bullet impacts. They're going to come after the sound of the gun firing, so they're going to come after you. They've added a thing with the flare gun, which I think is awesome, that if you fire a flare gun and the flare hits the ground, it will distract mechs and puppets who will run over to that flare on the ground and pay attention to that. So that's a good thing. However, if you're too close to them when you fire the flare gun might still get their attention, as opposed to the flare itself. So I don't know, use that with caution. Radios and vehicles, nothing new there, but now they have it so that if you're not in first person driving it and you're showing the vehicle from the outside, as well as being somebody outside the vehicle, you're going to hear the radio as a muffled type sound. So that's pretty cool. They did some level optimizations that are supposed to decrease the stutters. That is always welcome. As well as helping some of the FPS drops in the urban areas and things like that. So hopefully that's making life a little better from a quality standpoint. They've increased the item spawn chance at some military locations by 10%, so that's a nice thing. They've increased inventory size of civil, or I think they mean civilian clothing, so non-military clothing, so you can carry more stuff in your plaid shirt, in your leather jacket, perhaps. Clothes are now washable in oceans, so salt water, as itchy as it may be, will still wash your clothes. One of the interesting things about that is as you wash the clothes, they're gonna, and this has been here for a while, but they have the dirt buildup. You actually see your clothes getting more grungy. Well, they have enhanced that. It is very noticeable now, and as you wash it, it returns things back to this great view with your patches and all. But when they roll in the health system, they're going to make those clean clothes part of that. So as you run around with your dirty, grungy clothes, it's going to affect your character's health. Let's see, they've added notifications, so when you put down traps and it kills somebody, you'll be notified. If you're not online, it'll just put it up in there, so when you do log in, you'll get to see that, so you get to kind of get some of that appreciation of your handiwork. Metal arrow tips, now they need 6 uses of toolbox instead of 10. They're doing a lot of work on the whole archery and arrow system, so I guess hang on, because they're going to continue to be tweaked. Weapon magazines are now repairable with a weapon repair kit, which is a good thing. And then they fixed the bugs, which again, well, there's not many. I think I'll just go through them. They fixed some cases where item decay wouldn't work as expected. They fixed some cases where items wouldn't appear visually in inventory. I think we've all had that happen, and that's frustrating. You have to log out and come back in. They fixed a bug with hair rendering issues. I don't know what those were, but apparently they fixed the bug. They fixed a bug where the crafting of stacks of item would cause them to flicker in the crafting panel and make the craft button unresponsive. Again, I've never seen that, but good thing. All fixes are good. Vehicle inventory will no longer be damaged by grenades, so that's a good thing. And they fixed wall blueprints, sometimes having holes after returning to them. I thought I had read somewhere that they were looking at increasing the amount of materials that walls were using to build your bases. I haven't seen the example of that, and I haven't exhaustively looked at it, to be honest, but I did craft walls, the little palisade walls with the medium, basic, and no skill level, and the little examples I used did not show any more resources, so I don't know really what to make of that. Your mileage may vary. If you do notice, please feel free to put it in the comments, and we'll talk more about it. But other than that, I think that's pretty much the patch. I'm really looking forward to it. As much as I love the looks of the military clothing, I think it's going to be an interesting deal to see with these patches on your clothes. So yeah, that ought to be fun. So anyway, hope to see you in Scum, patches and all, dirty clothes and the whole bit. And other than that, have a great day. All right.